As you guys may know, your youth pastor Frank and his wife Nancy were blessed to be able to go to Thailand this summer. And, not all of us were able to go, but we have some good news. They get to come back and we get to live vicariously through them as they share a little bit of what they saw and experienced. So let's give Frank and Nancy a warm welcome. Woo!
All right, thank you. So as some of you guys may know, Nancy and I went to Thailand this past July for about a month. And 3 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks. And we went because I went to Thailand in 2008 for a whole year, serving under one of the missionaries we support, Pastor J.J. Huang and Junya. And from my time there, I felt the Lord was calling me to long-term mission. And so, we went back this summer to see if the Lord is still calling us there or calling me there. And, Nancy's never been, so it was an opportunity for her to see as well.
So I never thought about doing long-term missions, but Frank, when we were dating, he was like, this is what I want to do. If you're not even interested, then we have to consider pursuing this relationship. So for me, I always knew that was a possibility. So I was always very open. I felt like if God wants me to go, I'll go. So this is just basically for me to get my foot wet and to see what it's like talking to missionaries and meeting people. Because I'm a podiatrist, so I wanted to see how practically God would use those skills because I wouldn't want to not use them.
Yeah, so we stayed primarily in Chiang Mai, right, which is in northern Thailand, and Bangkok is right here. This is central Thai. So it's actually a pretty far distance. Chiang Mai is actually the second largest city in Thailand, and it's actually an up-and-coming city. When I was there in 2008, they had 2 malls. Okay, when we went back, there are 5 malls now, right? So it's developing like crazy, right? There's all these condos. It's a hustle and bustle city, and so and it's actually a very strategic location for a lot of missionaries because Chiang Mai is a central hub for Southeast Asia, for parts of China, and so a lot of missionaries actually come there and do their conferences and meetups and stuff. And so that's where Pastor JJ and Junya are, and that's actually who we spent most of our time with, spending time with the Huangs. And so this is Pastor JJ's right here, this is Junya, and this is their 2 kids, Ethan and Abby. And my parents and my sister actually came along for about 2 weeks as well, because they wanted to see what I did out there. And so a lot of our time was spent with them because that's who I have a relationship with, and a good portion of that time was spending time with Abby and Ethan, the missionary kids. Only because for missionary kids, I have a heart for them, and they tend to get lonely during the summer months because a lot of their friends are missionary kids who go back to the States, right? And so, I just want to love them, and we want to just care for them. And because a lot of times when short-term mission teams come, you're mostly focused on ministry, right, and not on the families. And so, we want to just bless them. And so we did a lot of that. And then we also got to spend time at the Jasper Kids Home. This is the primary ministry of Pastor JJ and Junya. And what it does is it's a children's home, right, not an orphan, it's a children's home, primarily serving indigenous mountain people of Thailand, so the Karen tribe. And up in those villages, you get compulsory education up to elementary school. After that, they don't offer education beyond that. And so if you want to receive an education for middle school and high school and then hopefully get into college, you actually come into the small towns, right, in the surrounding areas. And so this home is set up so that kids from the mountains come stay at the Jasper Kids Home and then go to the middle schools and the high schools, in the area. All right.
So this is a typical kind of Sunday worship. So this is their auditorium and where they have their worship. And this is just a picture of some of the girls doing some worship music.
And then, we didn't do a lot of ministry. But I did get a chance to preach for the Jasper Kids Sunday worship. What's really cool about that was my very first time preaching on a Sunday was actually in Thailand in the summer of 2008. Right, Daniel Lee remembers. I was kind of caught off guard. We didn't have a pastor who went with us, and I was the leader. And then so Pastor JJ was like, "Oh, every mission team comes and preaches once." And I was like, "Oh, I did not know that. And so I had to come up with a sermon that week. But it's kind of nice to go back and actually, now that I have been serving here for a while and have some sermons under my belt and some experience, to bless them in that way. Along with that, the Jasper Kids ministry has expanded to include college. They have about 20 kids now, and it's in Chiang Mai. And what's really cool about this ministry is there were some middle school kids that I served when back in 2008, and now they're in college. Right, to see them, to maintain that relationship, and then to see them grow in their faith, and to see them mature in their studies, and see the fruit that this Jasper Kids ministry, is having. It's I don't know. I felt like it was very special for me to be able to be a part of that, and to know that I was a part of that. Right. On top of that.
So besides hanging out with Huang's family, we also visited some other pastors and churches in Chiang Mai. So this is Grace Point, which is a church plant in Chiang Mai, and we were able to meet one of the local pastors, Pastor Narin, who is a local Thai pastor there.
All right, and they partner with a PCA missionary, Trey and Kiki Mills. And so what they do is they partner with, instead of making their own ministries, they partner with local ministries. And so they church planted actually in the college town, right? So very, very happening area. And so they're trying to, make inroads for the gospel, in these, in a high impact area. If you guys don't know, Thailand is only 1% Christian, right? So they're doing a mighty and good work.
I was also able, me and Frank were able to meet Ruth. So Ruth gets to work within the Chiang Mai University with all the residents and the elite doctors, and makes changes to the policies so to make it a better program for international residency, which is what they're gearing towards. So she gets unique insight. Like Frank said, Thailand's only 1%. So a lot of the missionaries reach a lot of the villages and mountain because there's a physical need that it's easier to meet. The leads are really, it's a bit harder because they have, they have education, they have money. So it's building relationship with them and telling them about the gospel isn't very easy. So she gets a unique opportunity to kind of meet them. And just to tell you how hard it could be sometimes, she's been there for about 7 years. She said it took them 6 years to build that relationship where they actually know that she's going to stay, and they're invited her over to the house. So for them, it's relationship matters a lot to even be able to share the gospel. You can't just tell them about Jesus. The relationship really matters. So she was also able to introduce me to one of the doctors there. She's a native Thai doctor, and she runs a Bible study that Frank and I were able to go to for the medical students, and about 3 medical students. And it was really cool to see forming these minds that are going to affect the future, and being able to tell them about God. And it just gave me more insight about what it's like to be a doctor there, and works that possibly I could do there.
Yeah. So we went to that small group, and it was just 4 other students, this doctor, and she was telling us that, there's maybe 7 Christians in that whole hospital, right? So we feel very privileged just to be a part of that, and to just be a part of Ruth's ministry and that Thai doctor's ministry, and just seeing all the different ways that the Lord is working, even when it's hard. And one of the coolest things I think we took away from this trip is, through the Jasper Kids ministry, they've raised kids from middle school to high school through college, and there are 4 students or former students who have now come back, and they're either part of the Jasper Kids home, running the whole Jasper Kids home in Uang Pao Pao, and we have one of them helping run the college ministry. And so you see these guys grow up, and now they're taking ownership and leadership of these ministries, right? And so the Lord is producing a lot of fruit, right? And our church has been supporting their ministry for the last 10 years, and this is what our support has brought forth. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for sharing. Pretty awesome stuff. At this time, our brother Ed Bang will offer our congregational prayer.